foregrounds, middle grounds, backgrounds. What am I going to do with it? I will show you how you can zoom into your painting, into your drawing. That is what that foreground, middle ground, and background means. Now, watch this. Hello and welcome to Senior Art Strokes. I'm Angel Mercado. If you've been not very happy with your sketches lately because they look too flat, they don't really have depth, maybe this is the video you need to watch. Because here we're going to discuss again composition, and this time we're going to discuss about the three main shapes that we can create at the beginning of our composition. And these three main shapes are going to help us create the illusion of depth in our drawings. And these are the foreground, the midground, and the background. Think about it like this. Think about your right in the front door of your house. The front door becomes your foreground. You open the door and you can see inside. You're going to see the midground, the room. You might see the back walls or a back window and whatever is in the back, and that becomes the background. So the foreground to me is kind of like an invitation into the drawing. And also, when you consider all of these three shapes, they will be helping you to create the illusion of depth, that something goes farther and farther, which is kind of like a neat illusion, I think, when I think about that's what we're trying to create on a flat piece of paper. And you know, and sometimes can be done so well, so beautiful. It's amazing. So, the first thing, the foreground. The foreground, as we can see in this picture, this is a scene from the causeway in Dunedin, here in Tampa Bay area. And you see that a lot, especially on weekends. You know, you see young people, they put a hammock, you know, from tree to tree, and they just lay there. They listen to music. They are reading. Sometimes they herd their puppies there, and who knows what else they're doing. But anyway, it's a scene you see quite often. And I happened to be in one place one time when this little Jack Russell pup just showed up, you know, above the hammock like this, and you can just see the tail. We do have a Jack Russell, but ours is an old one. We had it for about 16 years now, so it's not quite that chirpy. And I thought that would be a good scene to explain the three layers, you know, the three shapes. So I decided to create this image thinking about on the compositional. Remember, before we start everything, we need to divide our flat, you know, paper in thirds, you know, horizontal and vertical. And wherever those intersections meet, that's what's going to be the point of interest. Whatever we want to showcase in our sketch, we're going to place them there in these corners to create a more of a dynamic, more interesting composition. So this one worked out great because the doggy in this instance is a point of interest, and that's where you're going to see the most contrast. You're going to see most contrast in dark and light, for instance, in this case. Also, I'm showing you here the tree trunks or the palm trees on each side, and also some of the ground and a shrub that is on the scene. And all of that is part of the foreground because that is what is the closest to us. That is the front door. Okay, so as you look into, okay, and the foreground is where it's going to be, we're going to find, in this case, is the most contrast is going to be there. We're going to find the darkest color notes, the darker tones, and also if you are using color, that's where you're going to find the most vivid, richer colors. It's going to be in the foreground. Although, of course, we can manipulate this too and kind of like make it kind of like a blur if we want to showcase something that is in the midground. Then we change a little bit things, just like a camera does. It depends where you focus, it's where your eye is going to go on the camera. It's the same thing here. That's what we try to do. So the midground in this case is water. The midground is water, and that is where we try to create some of the noise in our piece, in our drawing. In this case, the noise becomes the water, where you have to put a little bit of texture. You have to show some maybe white caps, something that is show you that the water is in movement. It's not like an static, piece there. It's always in movement. So that is what we do. We try to recreate that. And also for a little bit of more interest, I just place a couple of boats there. But usually that's where, like I said, that's where most of the noise, most of the textures are going. And then from there, we move into the background. And the background is where we're going to see things kind of like fuzzy. The edges, they kind of tend to blend into one another. It's not going to be as sharp as the one we see in the foreground, where that right there we can see the dark and the light behind it. So it becomes very hard line edge. Whereas in the background, we might be seeing, in this instance, we see islands in the background, but they are blending a little bit. They're soft. They have softer edges when it comes to be up against the sky, and also the sky is going to have very soft edges because we don't want to show any. We don't want to show a lot of interest in the background. If you show too much in the background is going to come boom forward towards you. You are going to kill the illusion of distance. The illusion of distance, you have to show very little in the background. It's more like of a grayish tone with a lot of softer edges and not a whole lot of detail. Put too much detail there and you will be surprised how the illusion of depth gets ruined very easy, very fast. So that's something to keep in mind when you are considering, and doing a landscape. And even though inside the house, if you are doing something here, you have a still life, for instance, you are going to have some background. Some of that is going to be the background, some is going to be the midground. The foreground usually is going to be where your main subject is going to be in your piece. So keep that in mind and practice. Just look at different, look at pictures and see if you can see, go with a pencil, a pen, and see if you can mark the outline, the foreground, the midground, and the background. See how it works. See how you can make it work. And practice, that's all it takes. After 30 years, it's coming a little bit easier. I'm not always successful, but it's a lot easier than before, than many years ago. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope I explained well enough the importance of these 3 different shapes. And practice. Give me a like, subscribe, and share it. Why not? If somebody's looking for something like this you might think might benefit, share it. I'm sharing it with you. I'm sharing it with everybody at no cost to anybody. So just my time. A lot of time because making videos is not my forte. But hey, I'm getting there. So have a beautiful day. I hope you get to do this. Watch some of my other videos. Go to Senior Art Strokes, and I have some other videos on compositions and others, that give you good tips on how you can go about creating the drawings and perhaps you are trying to create, and make you a better, of course, sketcher. You want to improve there. You want to be satisfied with your work like everybody else. So I will see you next time, and thank you so much for watching this. Goodbye.